the Open Mic of Horrors show for October. There you go. We knew he was there. We knew he was there somewhere. We have a very interesting show this month. Of course, we have our comedians, we have our performers coming up on stage, entertaining us, doing their new stuff. But we also have interesting people to talk to in our community and in our region of Texas. And what's really interesting that's going on right now, as everyone knows, it's election season. And we put out over here at Open Mic Thursdays a call out to someone from the Obama campaign and someone from the McCain campaign. And we got some response from the Obama campaign via, we actually spoke to many people until we got to you. Everybody everybody was trying to find the right person to come and talk to us. And we I have the great pleasure of talking to Dan Graney, who is the president of the Texas Stonewall Democratic Caucus. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, nice big round of applause for him. Thank you so much for coming out. And I understand you just got elected president of the organization.
That's correct. At the Texas Democratic Convention in Austin in June.
Congratulations, that's wonderful, wonderful. Now tell me a little bit briefly about what the organization is about. Stonewall, I'm assuming there's an LGBT connection to it?
Yes, it's the official LGBT caucus of the Texas Democratic Party. And what we do is
Just in case you don't know what that means, LGBT means lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender.
Right, spell that out.
Say that fast 3 times.
Right, it's always good to spell it out. And we basically, support candidates who support our issues, and we educate our community about candidates who are supportive on our issues, such as, which have to do with equality and non-discrimination.
Mm-hmm. Now this is a very interesting year. I mean, obviously, you guys know this, and again, if you're watching this in the future, tell us what happened. But right now, we are very close to the election, a type of election that's never happened before. We have the very first African-American presidential nominee, is that correct? He's the very first one? And not our second, but first Republican GOP nominee in Sarah Palin, and Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. So it'll be either way it goes, it's going to be a huge change and shift in history, because we'll have gotten over that. We'll have moved on, and we can move on to other inequities in the world, if you will. How has this been different in your experience this election season? Because I remember Geraldine Ferraro, for instance, and playing the woman card back in the 80s was a big deal. Oh, she's a woman. You heard that. But I remember with Sarah Palin, there wasn't any of that. What's been the hardest hump in the debates, in your opinion?
Talking about the presidential debates or the primary debates?
The presidential. Let's start with that.
Well, I think the format for the debates was rather constraining, I thought, so that neither candidate really, they both kind of got off the hook not answering questions that they were asked. And especially Sarah Palin, she just changed the subject and went off on her own direction. But
I don't know how many people saw Sarah Palin on Saturday Night Live. Did you see that?
Tina Fey.
Yeah, or Tina Fey, and I thought that was brilliant. And a lot of, it's really interesting because our culture is very, we're easily convinced by funny and pretty people, right? It happens a lot. And I remember a lot of my gay friends were like, oh my God, that appearance on Saturday Night Live totally won my vote. She is so funny. I'll be like, yeah, she's funny. You'll be laughing all the way to the concentration camp.
That's right.
But talk to me about that. Talk to me about the presidential debates, how that went. Why did you find it constricting?
Well, just in terms of the format, but in terms of performance, I thought Obama was a steady, cool, calm presence on stage, whereas McCain kind of lurched back and forth and was erratic and sounded angry. And with regard to Palin, you're absolutely right. We will be marching to the concentration camps, because she's absolutely the antithesis of what we support in terms of equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender persons.
Now, I'd like to talk about a lot of issues, because there's so many issues at large right now. But since your focus is the LGBT issue, what is the difference between the two candidates regarding same-sex civil unions? I'll say civil unions because a lot of people get bent out of shape when I say marriage, and I understand that. Go ahead.
Right. Well, neither candidate supports same-sex marriage, unfortunately. Obama does support civil unions for same-sex couples. McCain does not. And
for people who don't understand what that means, what is the difference between gay marriage and gay civil unions?
Really, it's really a difference in name only, because when you talk about marriage, you have either a civil marriage, which is in a court, or you have a religious marriage, which is before a priest or a minister. And most people get married in court. I mean, a lot of people get married in court, and that's all that my partner and I would like, as having been together for 35 years, is to have a civil marriage. And that's why the California Supreme Court ruled, that to call it anything else but marriage is separate but not equal.
Interesting. Now, there's been a lot of bashing in this particular election. What is your take on that? Are you for that or against that? Do you think it helps the candidate look good, or do you think it just makes everybody look bad?
Well, I think most of the bashing has come from the McCain side, especially these calling Barack Obama a terrorist and a socialist, things like that. And I think that turns people off because they want to hear about the issues.
And what are the primary issues in your opinion?
Well, the primary issues are, obviously the number one issue is the economy right now, the financial markets and people losing their homes, their jobs, their vehicles. And how do we get out of this financial mess? That's the number one issue. And of course, there's still some concern about Iraq because we're still there and we're spending billions of dollars every month, which we should be spending here at home. People want health care. They want, independence in terms of our energy policy. So those are the major issues that I think are important.
Can you remind people of where they can vote on Election Day?
Sure. Well, they can vote right now. Early voting is going on right now. It started Monday and it ends on Halloween, 8 o'clock p.m. on Halloween, Friday the 31st. There's about 41 early voting locations all over Bexar County. If you don't know where they are, just look up the Bexar County Elections website, www.bexar.org/elections. And Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th.
And how can people find out more about, I almost said President Obama, I'm so sorry. How can people find out more about Barack Obama?
Go to his website, which is www.barackobama.com.
In all fairness, we did put out a call to someone from the Obama campaign and the McCain campaign, and we didn't get any response from the McCain campaign. So if you are watching, we'd love to hear from you, so call me.
Early voting turnout, by the way, has been record numbers all over the country.
I read that on AOL. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's give a nice big round of applause for my good friend Graney from the Texas Stonewall Democratic Caucus. Thanks so much. You weren't supposed to leave, by the way, but that's okay. This is Open Mic Thursdays, our Open Mic of Horror show. We will be back in just a couple of minutes.